Good afternoon. I'm Westchester County Executive Ken Jenkins, and today is Monday, November 3rd. This is our weekly briefing that we are having today. We're going to start today with our municipal guest, Mayor Justin Arras from the Village of Scarsdale. We're going to hear some information from the Commissioner from the Department of Social Services as we're trying to navigate the challenges that are going on with the SNAP program and get us caught up to date and certainly point to where the right information can be. We're going to talk about everything that's happening and coming down the pipe. We have our Albanian flag raising that's coming up on November 18th. And then we'll have our Deputy County Executive wrap things up, and before we talk about the closing of the week, with everything that's happening in the nationally accredited and award-winning park system. First, we're going to start with our village mayor, Justin Arras, and he's doing a fantastic job in the Village of Scarsdale. They had some great farmers market things that continue on. I'm sure he'll let us know about those things that are happening. I saw that it was coffee with a Scarsdale cop this weekend, and certainly it's a great opportunity for the things that are happening in Scarsdale. So with that, let's turn over to Mayor Justin Arras from the Village of Scarsdale. Mayor.
Thank you, County Executive. It was a great event. It was actually police, fire, paid and volunteer, and our ambulance corps. All fantastic. Thank you. Thank you again. Thank you for having me today. I'm really glad to provide an update on some of the great things happening in Scarsdale. Much of what we do involves strengthening infrastructure, advancing sustainability, and investing in the connections that bring our community together. We've continued our focus on reducing the number of roads in poor or failing condition. And over the past 5 years, I'm proud to be able to say we've been able to pave over half of the village's roadways. At the same time, we're looking beyond traditional paving to pavement preservation techniques like crack sealing and overlays. These methods extend the life of our roads, save money, and reduce environmental impact. It's smart, sustainable infrastructure management. Resident safety, pedestrian safety, and walkability remain top priorities for the Village Board. We've made progress expanding and improving sidewalks and pathways across Scarsdale. There's an example on a slide that you'll see of one of the new sidewalk projects that enhances connections between neighborhoods, schools, and our recreation areas. As we move into the upcoming budget process, the board will again review available resources with the goal of continuing to invest in safer, more walkable streets for all residents. Another project we're proud of is the restoration of the Audrey Hochberg Pond Preserve near the library. Years of sediment and runoff had affected water quality and wildlife inhabitants. We completed the restoration in September, and the turtles and other wildlife have returned. The project also extended the sidewalk between the library and the high school, creating a greener, safer pedestrian route for students and families. Stormwater management and resiliency remain major priorities. We've seen how quickly heavy rain can impact neighborhoods and infrastructure. We will need to continue working with our friends in county and state government to make lasting improvements, but we are determined to do what we can locally to address this challenge. Our goal is a stronger, more resilient Scarsdale, better prepared for the next storm. Our trees are vital to Scarsdale's character and to our environmental health. This April, we celebrated 42 years as a Tree City USA, recognizing our long-standing commitment to urban forestry and sustainability. We were honored to celebrate that milestone with County Executive Jenkins, who you'll see in a slide, who is not a stranger to Scarsdale at all, and we appreciate that, Senator Mayor, and many community volunteers, a reflection of how much we value our shared green spaces. Sustainability helps to guide so many of our decisions. Our village fleet now includes several electric vehicles, from Mach-E's to Ford Lightnings to Nissan Leafs. And this summer, we added the first all-electric garbage truck in Westchester County. It collects waste quietly and without emissions, improving air quality, lowering noise, and setting an example of responsible local government innovation. This spring, Scarsdale was recognized at the county's 6th annual Eco Awards for achieving the largest reduction in waste across all Westchester municipalities. That recognition belongs to our hardworking public works team and our dedicated volunteers on the Conservation Advisory Council. Their collaboration continues to make measurable progress towards our sustainability goals. We've also continued our partnership with Westchester County and the Scarsdale Business Alliance to produce the second year of Destination Scarsdale, promoting our downtown as a place for shopping, dining, wellness, and community life. Our weekly farmers market, which thank you again for the plug, County Executive, goes till November 22nd. It continues to grow. It features regional farmers, artisans, and makers, giving residents and visitors a reason to gather downtown. And don't worry, after the 22nd, it will be back next spring. This year's Destination Scarsdale events included dog adoptions, small business sales, live music, and our annual Public Safety Day, which just happened this Sunday. We want to thank the county for their support, including the use of their stage for Rock the Dale, and for always partnering with us. These events are not only great opportunities for our residents to come together, but also for us to welcome friends and neighbors from across the county and beyond. They build community, support local businesses, and show Scarsdale at its best. In a time when things can certainly feel divided, we wanted an event that brought people together. Paint the Dale did exactly that. A community mural led by artist Joe Pimentel, with help from our Arts Advisory Council, Council on Human Relations, Scarsdale Business Alliance, and dozens of volunteers. Residents and families painted individual sections, creating something beautiful that reflects the unity and pride of our village. I hope you see that slide. That is not a rendering, that is not a graphic, that's actually what it looks like in Chase Park, so I really would invite everyone to take a look at that as well. The mural, which was completed just about a week ago, captures much of what makes Scarsdale special. Our natural beauty, strong schools, distinctive architecture, and the spirit of volunteerism and community that defines us. As we look to 2026, we're excited to celebrate both America's 250th birthday and Scarsdale's 325th anniversary. We look forward to more events and initiatives that bring people together and showcase the best of Scarsdale, and I'm very confident that both the county executive and the deputy county executive will be there. They know that they're always welcome and invited. Please stay connected through scarsdale.gov for updates on these projects and celebrations. And before I close, if I may, county executive, I want to take a moment to remind everyone that tomorrow, November 4th, is Election Day. I voted yesterday with my wife during the early voting period. It was very easy at the Westchester Public Library. I hope everyone who hasn't had the chance will get out and vote tomorrow. Of course, from up here, I will not name names, and Scarsdale is a nonpartisan government, but I can say that there are some really good people on the ballot, and every vote truly matters. Democracy is not a spectator sport, and participation is really the only way that we can make a difference. And I want to add on to that Scarsdale says thank you, County Executive. I know that we're not the only one. I know that you really touch every community and work with every community in Westchester County, but I can speak for Scarsdale. We are extremely appreciative and look forward to continuing to work with you.
Thank you so much, Mayor. All right. That was Mayor Justin Arias from the village of Scarsdale, and he gave a great report of the things that are going on. One of the things he pointed out is that you have Destination Scarsdale, but they have an awesome website from the village that you should connect to. I think they have all those things online, and there may be an app available as well. We'll just check it with him later on. But again, there are so many things going on across the panoply of things that happen in Scarsdale in the village. And again, whether it's talking about from Scarsdale Business Alliance, Destination Scarsdale, the continued investments in parks, and dealing with flooding and all those kind of things that happen. Scarsdale is awesome with that. Dealing with trees, Tree City USA, that was fun to be out there. I'm glad the tree is still alive. I mean, trying to help throw a little bit of dirt on that with the mayor and certainly Senator Shelley Mayer and the dynamic environmental committee that they have in Scarsdale that led the way, as folks would remember, as far as taking and having utensils that were recyclable, being able to do that recycling, curbside recycling. They've been leaders for a very long time in what is a nonpartisan government that continues to move forward. And again, thank you for reminding everyone, nation, make sure their voice is heard. We're going to remind everyone again as well. At this time, we're going to talk and we're going to bring up the Commissioner of Department of Social Services, that is Commissioner Leonard Towns. And Commissioner Towns has been very busy over the past few weeks. As soon as remember we recall telling you that because of H.R. 1, there were modifications in eligibility that were done, and New York State had a waiver for that, and the USDA decided to eliminate that waiver, which caused one set of problems to start scrambling, and that was well before the shutdown shutdown took place. And then we had the shutdown on top of that, where the USDA said that they were not having dollars available. So within the past 2 hours, the White House says that they will only make partial SNAP payments this month. It's really a challenge. It's a bit of a moving target. We're not quite sure what that means. There are systems in place, and remember, there's 42 million people across the country that depend on these SNAP benefits in every state, every kind of jurisdiction, whether it's a red state, a blue state, a nonpartisan state. I don't think we have any of those left, but at the end of the day, 42 million people need those benefits, and they are for veterans and for seniors and for children and all kinds of folks in between that need those services. And a court ordered for the White House to release emergency funds to deal with that. It's $5 billion worth of that. But again, that's the challenges that we're facing at this point in time. And obviously that hard doesn't end in SNAP. At the opening of the Home Energy Assistance Program, HEAP, is delayed indefinitely. And as we are getting into the colder weather over this past weekend, we had some snow in upstate New York. Westchester is not upstate, but the weather that we had was in the 30s for a couple of those days to start. But upstate, they did have some snow flurries that were going on in some of our upstate areas. So the heat and HEAP assistance, the HEAP versus the HEAT heat, that is very essential to help people with this Home Energy Assistance Program. Again, that program is delayed indefinitely. So we're deeply concerned in Westchester County, calling on our Republican colleagues to do their job, certainly dealing with this specific issue, bring that up for a vote, and then certainly our congressional folks, Mike Johnson and those folks, need to call the Congress people back to work. They've been on vacation for the last month and be able to handle the business at hand. And this is one of the very important things that are happening, that if the Senate acts, then you still need the House to come in and act on top of that. Again, they're going to creep up, and I guess they hit the longest shutdown, breaking the record from the previous Trump administration of 35 days. That will be hit tomorrow, and then we'll be on Wednesday that'll be hit, and then we're going to continue to move forward with this thing with no end in sight. Certainly we need to have people sit in a room, have conversations, and remember that the people that they represent are those constituents that need these services, 42 million in the SNAP program. So with that, here to explain a lot more about this program and the challenges that he's facing every day, working through so many different things. Commissioner Leonard Towns, who came up through the assistance programs and those kind of things, and he understands this much more intimately than people would recognize. But at the end of the day, he's doing a great job trying to navigate through what is a moving target in the federal government that has seemed to have forgotten that government's in place here to help support people. 42 million of them here in the United States, and he'll give us the numbers here in Westchester County. I know in Hudson Valley it's 77,000 people that are in that category. So, Commissioner.
Thank you, County Executive. Good afternoon. As Ken said, the federal government has agreed to fund SNAP, but it is a partial funding, which means everyone will not get their full benefits. There is a fund that has about $5 million in it, and the total need, I'm sorry about that, $5 billion, yes, but the total need is $8 billion. So it has to be distributed in a partial manner to everyone on assistance, and how that will be done is yet to be determined. What we do know is, even if that decision is made, it's still going to be a little time before people get their benefits, so we do want to encourage everyone to continue to access the food pantries that are available, dealing with Feeding Westchester, friends and relatives, community resources, churches. Rely on all your resources to help you make it through as we go through this time of determining exactly how many benefits everyone will be able to receive. Now, I do want to say, if you are currently not a recipient of SNAP, you still have the opportunity, if you have the need, to apply for SNAP. Go through with the process. We will process your application, and your benefits will be put in a pending status until the federal shutdown is ended. We want to make sure that everyone knows that they still have an opportunity to get these benefits once they are approved, and we don't want anyone waiting and feeling like they're not entitled to those benefits. For current recipients of SNAP, your EBT card is still effective. It still works, so if you have benefits that you have not accessed from October previously, you can still get those benefits. November benefits are still pending, as I said before, but we're still putting in the work and effort, waiting on decisions to be made to fund everyone's SNAP for that next month. In regard to SNAP households, I want to encourage everyone to continue to comply with rules and regulations. If you have to recertify, do that. If you have to send in your periodic report, do that. If you have to report changes, please keep your case going so there's no interruption in your benefits. We want to make sure that you still can access those benefits when they are allowed. Now, County Executive did mention the work rules. That's still a concern as well. We did our due diligence. We sent letters to everyone in receipt of SNAP benefits. We made phone calls, and we're hoping that you respond. Please come in for their scheduled appointments so we can start to assess your ability to work and move forward so that you are in compliance with those rules so there are no delays in your benefits. Now, to stay abreast of everything that's going on, I'm going to repeat the website again at the state level so you can get the latest changes and updates. That's otda.ny.gov/shutdown. Now, if you're in need of immediate food assistance, Feeding Westchester has an online database of local food pantries, so you have to go there and see if you can get some assistance. That's at feedingwestchester.org and click on Find Help. United Way also is of help. The 211 helpline of Hudson Valley also has a list of food resources. You can call 211 or visit www.211hudsonvalley.org and click on Search. This will be an ongoing process as we wait for the decision to be made, figuring out what the partial benefits will look like, and then waiting on the actual full opening of the benefits. But in that time, we want to encourage you to stay diligent. If you have any questions, you can call us at DSS. We're all more than willing to assist you and guide you forward. And if things happen where you feel like there's an emergency that you don't have resources for, you don't have anyone to turn to, you can come into DSS and put in an application. That goes for a HEAP as well. We're here, we're available to help you. So as we learn more, we'll do our very best to keep you updated and aware of the latest changes that are going on. Thank you. Good afternoon.
That was Commissioner Leonard Townsend, and again, we want to make sure to echo the points that he made. Continuing one, that if you received a letter from the Department of Social Services, and we know how in this world right now, there's so many people that are concerned when they receive something, especially in the mail, regarding benefits and to call in, et cetera, make sure you call to check. If you are concerned that you received something or saw an email or text, I don't think we're emailing folks at all at this point in time. So if you saw an email that didn't come from the Westchester County Department of Social Services, and we definitely aren't texting. So if you see those are likely fraudulent because they did not come from Westchester County at all, so don't respond to those. But if you received a letter, snail mail, hard mail in your hand, follow up on a telephone number and call. And that number would be a 995 number to be able to go from that particular point and ask if there's an appointment time that is scheduled for you. Make sure you follow up on those. Do not have your case end up in a tragic situation because you just didn't respond to something that you were not sure you should have. So again, the commissioner was here echoing that point. Make sure that you keep your case current. Make sure you keep your benefits open. And whenever the federal government gets their things together in the USDA to be able to move forward on the $5 billion or $8 billion of what they need, they have to figure out a way to do partial benefits, and they're not quite sure how they're going to do it. I think that it would be easier for them to find the money and be able to address it that way through the emergency funds that are available throughout the federal government for those purposes. So again, make sure you do that. And also, as Commissioner said, if you feel that you're in one of those situations that is beyond that, the application process for us continues. So you should come in and apply for those benefits, and then we'll see what things are available. There's never guarantees in those, but again, at least you have an opportunity to do that. For folks that are out there, we have suggested strongly to folks that they're up there making monetary donations to a place. It's to Feeding Westchester for Westchester County, and what we've been able to do in partnership with them is that we allocated, and last week we announced this, I announced that we had an emergency allocation of $50,000 from the Department of Social Service budget to Feeding Westchester, and those emergency funds were going to enable Feeding Westchester to expand their food distribution, prioritizing high-need areas where SNAP benefits had the greatest impact. So that is those dollars go to Feeding Westchester, and then Feeding Westchester does not charge the local food pantries to get that additional food and emergency assistance. So we know Westchester families are facing an unimaginable hardship. We will not allow our neighbors to go hungry. This emergency funding will help feeding Westchester and our local food pantries step up in this moment of crisis to make sure no one in our community is left behind. I spent a lot of time on Sunday yesterday going around and visiting different houses of worship, and many of them continue to do their own food collections to be able to help distribute to folks around that in need. I saw one pastor out there in the country that said, you don't need to make your regular donations of money, but make sure you bring in food and go into your closets and go those things, because there's people out there that are making choices between eating or getting medication, and that kind of choice is unimaginable in the richest country in the world. So we're going to keep working together, doing everything that we can, working with our local partners, and Commissioner Towns and his entire team. Department of Social Services is our largest department, and they have so many tentacles of things that they do for assistance programs and for child assistance and et cetera. There's so many things. This is, for all those folks in the Department of Social Services, unimaginable at this point in time that a program that has never run out of money is allowed to run out of money as someone tries to use that as a political pawn in trying to make sure that we're getting people back to work as far as the shutdown's concerned. There's a lot of things that are happening, but there's nothing more important than taking care of people. And Department of Social Service does that each and every day. So we, Commissioner, you and your team, we want to continue to say thank you to you. And again, those residents in need of food assistance can go on feedingwestchester.org's website to identify those local food pantries that they help to serve. But again, friends, family, and those kind of things, as Commissioner was talking about, this is when we show Westchester how we do things in Westchester, where we look out for our neighbors, we look out for family, we certainly look out for those that need these support services. And again, every little bit helps. So again, Commissioner, thank you for the work that you and your team are doing. And I know it's heartbreaking to see some of these things that are happening, but we're going to continue to do this work and fight as hard as we can every day. We have coming up on the 18th, our Albanian flag raising in celebration of Albanian Heritage Month. So we're going to invite you to join us on November 18th at 2 p.m. outside here at the McKillian Office Building here at 148 Martin Avenue in White Plains for the Albanian flag raising. Please RSVP to communications at westchestercountyny.gov as soon as you can, but no later than November 12th. With that, let me bring up the Deputy County Executive. He'll let us know everything that's happening in our park system.
Thank you, sir. Clearly, these are tough times we live in. We heard quite a bit today about the SNAP program, and these kinds of things, as the county executive explained, are very difficult to comprehend in the richest country in the world. If you have an opportunity and you can make a contribution to Feeding Westchester, they're the leading food apparatus here in the county. They work with all of the various facilities spread around our county, and we hope that you can step up to the plate at this time. We'd like to tell you a little bit about some of the activities on this coming weekend that you can enjoy and get your mind off of some of the difficulties that we're all dealing with. On Friday, November 7th, from 10 a.m. to 11:30 a.m., there's a program at Lasden Public Gardens and Veterans Memorial called Forest Fridays. You can write and be well and participate in a walk around the property. You can practice and enjoy being present and aware in the fresh autumn air with a gentle and friendly weekly walk. Your guide will provide prompts to appreciate the abundance of the season and to take notice of our natural surroundings. Participants can stop to sketch or write or walk ahead at their own pace. This is a free program, and it's just a wonderful opportunity at a really beautiful setting. Also on Friday, November 7th, from 4:30 to 5 p.m., till 5:30 p.m., there's an interesting program, and it's called Bat Observation Walk. It's going to be held at the Mearstead Estate in Mount Kisco. You can join for an evening stroll to observe bats before they hibernate for the winter. The walk will include discussions about bat diversity, habitat, and behavior. You'll also learn how scientists can use acoustic monitoring of echolocation to detect where the bats are hibernating. Meet at the Carriage House parking area on the south side of 455 Byram Lake Road in Mount Kisco. The program will run in light rain, but if there's worse weather, the program will be canceled and rescheduled. Please bring flashlights at that time. And then on Saturday, on November 8th from 11 to 12 p.m., horse grooming at the Del Bello Muscoot Farm in Katona. This program is a repeat. It's very, very exciting for young people, ages 12 and older, can visit the farm and experience the joy of grooming their friendly horse, Haley. This hands-on program gives kids the opportunity to help care for Haley through brushing and grooming, which supports coat maintenance and encourages a positive socialization. There is a small fee of $20 for each participant, and the program will continue again on December 6th. And finally, on Sunday, November 9th from 11 to 1 p.m., the Miller House open house will take place at the Miller House in White Plains. You can drop in to visit the former home of Ann and Elijah Miller family, an average colonial Westchester family whose lives were changed forever when Washington and his army fought for American independence. It is located at 140 Virginia Road in White Plains, and that program also will be held again on December 14th. And finally, before I bring the county executive back, I want to join with Mayor Justin Arist from Scarsdale and encourage everyone to please come out and vote tomorrow, Election Day 2025. And with that, County Executive, thank you very much.
Thank you so much.
Okay.
That was our Deputy County Executive, Richard Whitney, and letting us know everything going on in the nationally accredited and award-winning park system. And he was talking about, one of the last events he was talking about was Elijah at Elijah Miller House, that is part of the county park system, part of the conservation park. When you think about parks, recreation, and conservation, and the investments that we made in the Miller House, and restoring that, and partnering with the Friends of Miller House, and certainly the Daughters of the Revolution, and other folks that continue to make sure that they support the Miller House and all the activities that we have going on. We recognize that in Westchester County that American history starts here in Westchester County through so many different things that have happened, and again, throughout the county in different places. And again, reminding people about getting their voice heard on Election Day tomorrow, November 4th. But as we go to Veterans Day on November 11th, when at 11 a.m., when we recognize the veterans and the service that they've done for our country. And again, you put those pieces together, and Veterans Day is why you need to make sure that you vote on November 4th and make sure your voice is heard. We know we have so many things that are happening, certainly the impact of shutdown, the impacts of things that are happening with programs that are being run out of funds like SNAP and HEAP and other things that are happening, changes that are happening because of HR 1. That's why votes matter, right? So you have to make sure that your voices are heard to continue that, to make sure your voice is heard during the election period. The last thing I wanted to say is that we do know that we have challenges going on in the SNAP program here, and we also know that our friends in Jamaica and in Cuba and some of the other islands that were in the path of Hurricane Melissa, the island of Jamaica had a Category 5 hit in the strongest storm that they have ever faced, and certainly they are digging out from all of those things there in Cuba and in all of the other Caribbean islands that were in the path of Hurricane Melissa before it became a storm and was downgraded. There are several things that are happening in different places. Make sure you reach out and look for those in your community. They're trying to bring support, supplies, etc., to the island of Jamaica as well, and certainly the island of Cuba that got hit with a Category 3 storm. Again, for those folks in rural areas, whether it was a rural area here in the United States or any rural area out there, that you get those strong winds and storm surge, and those houses just aren't built. They're not built for that. So again, at the end of the day, make sure that you continue to help and support those around as well, around the country as well, in other countries as well that need our support as we continue through this time. Remember again that we have November 11th coming up for Veterans Day. We want to say thank you to our Commissioner of Social Services, Leonard Towns, and his entire team as they're trying to help navigate for those that need those support services that we have to continue to do, whether it's SNAP, HEAP, or anything else, and continue to do that. And we want to say thank you to our municipal guest this week, the Village of Scarsdale Mayor Justin Aris, that continues to do a great job down there with his team and the things that are happening there, and get a chance to see that. Again, those are happening all throughout Westchester. Again, final reminder again, tomorrow's election day. Make sure your voice is counted. Make sure you go out and vote. I'm County Executive Ken Jenkins. Thank you so much for watching, and have a wonderful week. If there's something that else has to come up, we will be back to you during the upcoming budget season.